Hi everyone, this is Dr. Matt, and you're listening to Take Back Your Health, where we talk about all things health and ways to help you be the best version of you. Hey everybody, this is Dr. Matt. This is Take Back Your Health podcast, and I'm here with a very special guest and a special friend of mine. She actually was my very first patient, believe it or not, when I started my office. I was still a mobile chiropractor when I came to you, right?
Yes.
In the when I was in the CrossFit gym, when I kept coming in there twice a week to set up my table to adjust you and go back home.
Yep.
Oh, memories.
Right.
Well, this is TK. This is Taylor Keys with TK Training. So, Taylor, appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So tell everybody a little bit about who you are, what you do, where you at, things like that.
Okay. So a lot of people know me as a personal trainer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm entering into my 13th year as a personal trainer.
Wow.
In the recent years, I've expanded. I've became a nutrition coach. I've coached CrossFit. I've done competitions. I was a collegiate runner, and so we also do like sports-specific training and those types of things, and not just running, but sports across the board. And so growing up, being an athlete, that really helped me just cope with home life and just things that I was going through as a kid and just as a young woman. And I also saw the impacts of how being active and having an outlet and creating community benefited other people. And it was not just my physical health, but, my mental health and the camaraderie of a team. Mm-hmm. And so that carried over into all these other aspects into my life, being a coach, being a trainer, being a part of team in college. And now I have the privilege of doing that for my clients.
Yep. So it gave you a lot of background experience, I guess.
Absolutely.
So now you can take that knowledge and help other people.
Absolutely.
So you're a personal trainer, yes, and you actually work right across the street.
I
So
do.
it's a very, very short walk over here.
Yep.
But so you offer a lot of services.
I do.
You go way beyond just personal training. Let's get that out there.
Yes.
So kind of give us really quickly what services you do offer.
Okay. Aside from personal training, I offer nutrition coaching, stretch therapy, stretch and mobility therapy, Thai massage, sport-specific training, group training. We have a variety of other services like your infrared sauna, our cold plunge, in-body scans, which is a body composition analysis. And we also have a little wellness market up front in our studio of all kinds of quality medical-grade supplements, clean foods and snacks and those types of things. And we also have another trainer on staff. And he's getting ready to acquire some more certifications too. So I wear many hats.
I was about to say, you're one person that does all of this.
Yes.
You got me tired already.
I
Good
know.
gracious.
I know.
I don't know how you have time to do all that and have a personal life too on top of that.
It's hard.
So
it's important.
Well, gracious. No, it's good to provide a lot of variety because you want to. That's kind of what I like to do in my office. I provide several services because you want to be a one-stop shop for people.
Absolutely.
Because it's convenient sometimes.
Health is all encompassing.
Well, of course.
And, while people, when they start training with me, while they'll see results initially, just feeling better, relief of pain, maybe better energy, muscle mass, those types of things. There are things that you're going to reach a point where you can't see any more progress unless you address other behaviors and lifestyle habits. And so that's where these other things come in. Nutrition, stress management, mobility, stability. So it can go on and on and on.
Yeah, it's good
and
to
so
have.
it's important to, help people understand that it's all connected.
Yeah, it's good to have different avenues like that because, like I say, not everything. Something's going to stop working eventually, so you need to go a different route. And going into that, because I always want to talk about consistency because I tell my patients that you're not going to see results unless you are consistent, and that's with everything. That's with what you do. That's with what I do. But as a personal trainer, why should someone use a personal trainer rather than just do it on their own? Like, because anybody can go down to the gym, join a gym membership, start working out. But why should they get a personal trainer instead, in your opinion?
Well, first thing, I just want to ask, how's that working for you? Because
right.
we all have, we've all started things, subscriptions, and forget about them. And a lot of times, people, they have these memberships, but they don't utilize them. And so I think it's really important on the accountability aspect,
Yep.
absolutely, that you set appointments and you hold yourself to those. You have somebody that's depending on you to be there. You're held accountable to them, and we're held accountable, to you. Why people need to hire a personal trainer other than do it on their own, my first answer to that is safety.
True. I didn't think about that.
There is such an important component about moving your body, and a lot of times when people get started, they don't know what they're doing.
That's a really good point, actually.
And they have not created this mind-muscle connection. And in order to benefit, you really need to create that and keep that pathway open and focus on what you're trying to accomplish. And not just for that, but for joint health and just for range of motion, lots of things come into that. And so I think it's really important to have a trainer that understands biomechanics, that understands kinesiology, that understands things inside and out, so that we can guide somebody, A, to do things properly and get the full benefits, but B, so that we can hopefully lengthen their longevity and their quality without regression in injury or pain.
Yeah. So like I said, you have somebody to hold you accountable, but you also have somebody that's there to ask questions.
Absolutely.
Because if somebody say, "Hey, it's January, I want to start working out, I'll start taking better care of myself. I don't go to the gym, so let's try it." And then they go in there and they just pick up random weights and start working out, and they pull a muscle or rip a muscle or something
like,
worse,
"Oh, I got
and they're
hurt."
like, "Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah, see, I told you I shouldn't have worked out." But it's good to have somebody like that's there that tells them to do it, because not only for that reason, but also because you can cater to their body and their needs. Because unfortunately, everybody has the same parts, but not everybody works the same way.
Absolutely.
So how I would need to work out or how I would need to train is different than how you would need to train. And some people don't think of that. It's the same thing with nutrition. My body needs different than what your body would need.
Well, I mean, that's part of being personal.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
I have found
Personal trainer.
that exactly. I have found in this industry that a lot of other people in my field that they are not personalized. They try to train people like they train,
Like a mass
yeah.
thing.
Or if they're a bodybuilder or if they're a competitor, then they train people like they train, and there's nothing wrong with that. But our population, the majority of us are just trying to live quality lives, to sleep better, to be able to do day-to-day functions like lift our grandkids, our kids,
daily
run with our kids.
activities,
Yeah, daily things. And so it's
Getting
not
off the toilet.
Yeah, you got to be able to sit down and stand up.
Exactly.
But those things are so important until you can't do them, and you're like, oh, well, wait a second.
And then it becomes the new norm.
Well, it
Then you're
becomes
like,
a burden. It
well,
becomes
that too, yeah.
People feel when you've had to watch somebody, who was once independent become dependent on somebody, it can make you feel like a slave or imprisoned in your own body.
Oh yeah. Believe
And
me.
so that's where we come in as a trainer and as a coach to hopefully help you develop these tools and skills so that you can change your behaviors that got you there. And we give you those tools, whether that's through coaching or through training or through programming, that meets the needs of the clients. And so they can go out and do the things that they can on their own. And it looks different for everybody. They may not be using a barbell, but they may be using, objects in their home. Whether that's, again, carrying groceries into the house or 5-gallon buckets or paint buckets for crying out loud. Think about all the renos that people do.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and a lot of times too, like even people with kids, they have more than one. So I don't know if you've ever just wrestled one child, but that's like wrestling a 5-ton gorilla right there.
Yeah.
So
So I've been told.
yeah, exactly. So
And you have a dog, so that's even
I
worse,
do,
right?
I do. Yeah, and we definitely wrestle.
Oh, yeah, he'll take you down.
But those things are just really important that, you know, people can do the simple things, you know, reaching their arms above their head to brush their hair or put on a shirt or, like you said, getting up and off a toilet or in and out of a car.
Yeah. Things that should not be difficult, but sometimes can be.
And very painful for people.
True, yeah, mentally and physically.
Absolutely.
And that's what I like about, well, that's personal trainer anyway, just because you have somebody that can help you. And that's what I love about what you do anyway. It's just for you specifically because you just have a big heart to help people.
Yes.
And you don't want them to struggle by themselves. You want them to feel comfortable with you and know that they have somebody in their corner that can fight for them.
Absolutely.
Because
I think that's so important.
Yeah, it is. And sometimes it's very difficult for somebody to admit, to say, you know, I've just been this way for so long and I've just kind of come to this conclusion. This is kind of how it's going to be for my life.
Yeah.
And doctors really can't help me. And so
Yeah.
I don't think you can help me, but I'm willing to try. And then that's really all it takes. And
I think something that I'll just go ahead and say this that sets us apart is that we are so relationship focused. And so I will tell anybody, like, my job is to enter in to whatever place that my client is at, you know, and I can
where they are.
Absolutely. And I can actually say that because I vulnerably share on socials, in front of people, on here, my struggles and my difficulties, even as a coach and a trainer. It is not, you know, it's clear to me that it's not just one thing. You know, so much of our behaviors is connected to our emotions and our mental state. And so as your trainer, you know, I'm not just somebody that says, or a coach, whatever it is that I am to you, I'm not just somebody that says one thing and I do another. That I genuinely am working on myself and I am doing the things that I need to do in order to be healthier and sustain my health right along with you. So that's where we get to enter into their world and we hold each other accountable. The very things that I, you know, say to my clients also pull right back into me. And I have to remind myself of those things too. If I tell them that they need to manage their stress, then I too need to manage my stress.
Yep. Don't preach to the choir like some of us.
I
do.
mean, it is, and I think honestly, that's the most important thing that we can do as anybody in the health or healthcare industry is you treat people like human beings and you humanize us. That while yes, we're experts and you want to build that trusting relationship.
We might have more knowledge than
absolute-
you do, but that's because we can help you in ways that you can't help
Absolutely.
yourself. Exactly.
But it still is hard.
Of course.
And I think it's important to acknowledge people's thoughts and feelings and also what it probably took for them to even walk in my door.
Exactly.
That's very vulnerable for
a lot
people.
Of courage. Yeah, there's a lot of people in healthcare that really should not be in healthcare.
I think we all can agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just because there's people that do it for the prestige or the money or stuff like that. But
Well, and I'll say this, I don't think
not all the time, but
I don't think they start out that way. I
No.
think it's over a period of time
I think
that
they fall
kind
victim
of
to the system. and things
absolutely.
like that.
I think people genuinely start off things because they want to help people or they're passionate, and somehow along the way,
And they lose their passion.
yeah, they get burnt out.
Yeah, and that happens.
I can understand that.
But it's good to know that we have businesses that we can control, so that way we can not be forced into doing something we're not technically like to do, or it's against our morals or standards. That way
Absolutely.
we
That's
can
why we're
control.
entrepreneurs.
Exactly. I know, right? We could have a whole different conversation on how to run a business, I'm
yes.
sure. But getting to like the consistency part here, as far as obviously consistency is the only way to get results. You cannot do something. You've got to continue to do it. And I've got signs all over my office that says that, you know, the key to seeing results is staying consistent. Nothing changes if nothing changes, things
Absolutely.
like that. But how do you specifically, real quickly, how do you help your clients overcome obstacles and some challenges that they might not understand why they're not getting the result that they want, and how have you found that works best, I should say, for you to help clients in ways that they can't help themselves?
Yeah.
That might be a big question.
No, it is. I want to try, to be as simple as I can. I think the first thing is trying to get them to understand that there's a difference between, facts and feelings. And a lot of times, I just can't get motivated. And that seems to be the root of everybody's, or the sentence that I hear most often is the motivation. And honestly,
lack of motivation.
Motivation is fleeting. It's a feeling.
It is.
You can have instances where you feel motivated and then you don't, and life happens. And life is ebbs and flows of things. There's always going to be holidays. There's always going to be sicknesses and illnesses and curveballs thrown. But if you're not consistent in any of those things, you're not going to know how to fight back. You're not going to know how to stand back up when life knocks you down. And so as far as me and helping my clients be consistent, the biggest thing I will say is education. I want to educate my clients.
Yep.
It's not just about showing up to your appointments or just giving you this
Make sure you get a text message reminder.
a template of a program or a template of a food guide or whatever, but it is being an advocate for their overall well-being and sending them guides, sending them podcasts, sending them books or things that I recommend that they read or I find that would help them so that they can implement that into their daily lives. And so I do that as a resource so they can save that and reference back to it often. Or sometimes I will encounter people that are out of my scope entirely. And I'm like, hey, I know Matt, or I know, somebody else that is good at what they do and really cares about people, and I can refer them. And so whether they choose me or not, my job is to help people get to a place where they can sustain lives, quality lives, and strong lives and healthy lives on their own. And, education is one of those tools that I give them and I work on so that they get to a place where maybe they don't need me anymore and they can now take those tools and share those with other people.
Yeah, I use education quite a bit in my office because I find that not many people know what chiropractic is, and they have their own stigmas about it. So I make a point on the very first visit, I'm sure you do too, is you sit the patient down or the client down and you say that, well, this is the reason why you're having the issues you are, and this is how your body is responding to that, and this is the reason behind all of this. And you kind of give them the information. Now, yes, they have to make the decision to do it. Like I tell patients all the time, I can only get you 50% of the way. Right. You've got to still show up and lay down on my table and do your stuff to get the 100%.
Yep.
And sometimes people don't want to do that. Sometimes they only want to give you 20%. And I'm like, well, then if that's the case, you're only going to get 70% of the results if you're only doing 20%.
Right.
So it's that mentality that people have to overcome.
Well, I mean, that's honestly the biggest barrier is that, when people meet me and they expect me to just snap and make it happen. And, I'm not,
been there, done that.
I'm not out here selling weight loss supplements or injections or surgery. It goes back to the fundamentals. Eat nutritious foods, move your body often, get adequate sleep, build, healthy relationships, and do what you love to do. We make it complicated.
That's what I'm saying. We make health more complicated.
We make everything complicated.
I know, we're human.
Myself included.
We want everything easy, but we end up making it more complicated.
Yeah, I would just like my clients and just like you, I wish I could just work out once and just look great and be strong, or eat that salad.
Yep, eat that salad, lose that 20 pounds.
And then, eat milkshakes the rest of the time. That would be great.
I know, right? Well, we can dream. But if a patient or a client did want to start care with you or wanted to start treatment with you, give us your social media, or how could they connect with you to do that?
The best way to connect with me is honestly just through my phone, by call or text. So that's 828-851-0802. You can also reach out on our socials on Facebook at TK Training and Wellness, and on our Instagram at TK Training and Wellness. So it's just all lowercase, and then, as it should be on Facebook. And right now our website is being just revamped. We are just kind of creating a new look, revamping our services and our approaches and those types of things, and introductions to our new staff. And so,
I know, I saw that.
Yep, I'm really excited about it. It's very true to my brand, so I'm excited. So if you do check out our website, it's www.tktraining828.com. So you can still go on there and still see us, but just know that some things will be changing, some descriptions of services, memberships and such.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. If you'd like to learn more about something you just heard, or are interested to see how chiropractic care can help you, you can visit our website and schedule an appointment at newdirectionschiropractic-nc.com. Be sure to follow our social media accounts for more tips and information on how to be a better you. Thanks for listening.